Well, hello everyone, and Happy New Year and all the best for 2014. My name is Bertin, and I would like to welcome everyone to the first of a series of webinars about the newest version of our online production and collaboration tool ES4. We see that we're currently experiencing some problems with GoToMeeting, so we don't have everyone that we have invited in here. I hope that in our next webinar this issue is fixed with GoToMeeting, but you know, there's nothing we can do right now. Anyway, so this webinar is about the new features of ES4, and as you know, ES is well known not only for its collaborative soft proofing and approval features, but also for streamlining the production process for brands, agencies, pre-media service providers, packaging and printing. And in ES4, we have added many more exciting features to extend your possibilities in your workflow that we will cover in the upcoming webinars, the next one already upcoming Monday. And today we're going to cover new features in the next 30 to 45 minutes. And my colleague Frédéric Sanuy is going to show you how the new asset management features in ES will help you to simplify cataloging of media files, to share data throughout your organization, and get your images, video clips, page documents, or even 3D models approved. We have everyone muted here in this session, but certainly you can post your questions whether here in the live chat of GoToMeeting, or just send us an email to product@dalim.com. We will try to answer those questions once Fred has concluded the demo. Last but not least, we wanted to let you know that we're going to record this webinar and we'll make it available on our homepage after the session. Just have a look. Tomorrow morning, it should be online under the communication tab on our website. But now, enough talking. I hand over the screen and mouse to my colleague Fred, our pre-sales and solutions manager, and I hope you will enjoy his demo.
Okay, thank you also. As explained by my colleague Bertin, now I show you in a short demo that ES4 that has been released last month can manage an asset management and how we can manage, support, and drive your business with ES4. So as you can see, here is the home page of classic ES. Of course, you can set up, as for example, just like as this one, your home page as the entry of your photo portal. So I set up a user, which is John Smith. John Smith is one guy by the agency, and he has to create a project to be approved by the customer. The customer is the brand, and so yes, it's not connecting to ES. So first of all, ES so it's divided into main window. On the left side, you have the view of the classic view of a customer, but now we introduce a new way with a file system. So how does it done? You can see that there I've got one folder which is my DAM, and I set up this DAM as a folder in my server. And just to show you how it's done, in fact, I'm sharing this this folder. And this folder is a folder of my production system with a lot of files, production files, and so on. So I come back now to ES, and so we have a full monitoring system between your file system and ES. And so, as for example, if I now click on this folder, you can view exactly what I've got here on the folder samples. So it's exactly the same full synchronization. And so as for example, something I can do, I just take one picture from my desk and copy the files into folders. In the same time, so with ES4, we introduce a new interface to display the information, and finally that looks like ready, just like as ready in asset management. So as for example, if I just click on a picture, I can display some information links to the metadata to my pictures. And if I, as for example, if I make a selection from a software dedicated to make selections to edit metadata, you can see I've got exactly the same view. And as for example, for speeches, I've got couples of informations, IPTC informations. So I come back now into ES, and you can see that for this picture, I've got exactly the same layout of metadata. So you can edit, you can change your metadata, and you can set up this layout of metadata exactly as you want. Of course, we can also you can also mirror some other files, just like as video files. Here is an example of a corporate video we have. So into ES4, into my server, so you can play the video, do some upload, but we'll see that just after. And if I switch now to again to my view, I can show you that we can really simplify the interface. So that is to say, just by switching off the left and right side, you have really just your picture. You can edit and set. You can see that I can see here the picture I just added from my file system. And another interesting way, because sometimes I'd like to get some closer look to my picture, you can use the navigator to switch from one picture to the other. So you just add user your arrow key on the keyboard to switch from one to the other. It's very fast, you know, and so. And in the same time, you can make some selection, as for example, so for example, for this picture, I'd like to add this one, and perhaps I'd like to add this car, and so on. So now I come back to the view, to a more complete view of all the previous my folders. So we can see that we make a selection for that pictures. In the same time, I created a folder, which is a folder dedicated to my project I have to share and with my customer. And this folder has a couple of other folders, just like an InDesign file. And in ES4, we saw that we are able to manage pictures, but we're also able to view some InDesign file. And with the InDesign file, of course, using the dialog HTML file, you can view and access to a file. So you can see that I'm also able to manage some PDFs. So I've got some PDFs, I've got the video files, so, and also some 3D file, which is a video that coming from a 3D software, so you can manage something like that. So now, of course, I prepare some documents, but now I have to disconnect, and I'd like to use the front end of the customer, which is Emma, and by the brand. And so she has to connect to ES, go exactly to the same view. So it's something more simple. Yes, she has no rights of administration or anything like that. So first of all, of course, she has to do some search, and in ES4 you have some great tools to do some advanced search. So as for example, there I'd like to use the taxonomy, and for the taxonomy, as you can see, I've set up some information links to my project. So I can see that that John has done some part of the job. So as you can see, just using these selections, I can see here some pictures, some video files, and some PDF. So that looks okay for me. Using so I have to now I switch on some other examples. So I just like to go through. I can see that John has done some pre-selection using some ranking. So as you can see, and especially in ES4 now you can customize the view as we can see at the end. And so I like, for example, to rank with 3 stars this feature. And so as soon as I'm ready on this side, I can make a selection from part of his features. So as for example, I'd like to add this feature, this one, and I just have to drag the features in the image folder. And so my project is about to be ready, so we can see that my files are moved from a simple files that has been prepared by John by the agency. Of course, I have also to make some approvals to a file. So if I double click, in fact, to a view, you can view in the dialog HTML5 that I can get a closer look to some picture. It's very fast. Just take 1 second to open the files and whatever file is. Of course, you can post some annotation around there, so as for example, like to get some correction or something like that. You have a dedicated a window for the note, as for example, to reply and to make some comments. And at the end, of course, you can approve the files. And so we can see that on the left side, I can get a view to her file. So you can see that now Emma has approved the file and John is waiting for the approval. And so I can manage just like this all the features and media files I need. One other thing also which is very interesting is, of course, I can use the layout of metadata to take a survey on the information linked to a feature. Of course, you can add any comments to this feature, just as Brown for brochure 2014, as for example, and we save this information. At any time, this information is available in the search. So, as for example, I can so I just have to deselect the taxonomy, and if I'm searching for brands, I can see that the metadata I just use is there. The other thing is, if I'm searching for some other features, of course you can use the taxonomy, but you can also use the facets, and facets are very useful for us, for example, to use some ranking. And so I can use a lot of metadata, and just have to select. So I just have to switch to my folder in productions. So I'd like also to approve some of the files, just like this one. And also for the video files, I'd like to approve this video. So for video files, of course, you are using the HTML file viewer. You can post some annotation also on video. As for example, And you can see that as soon as I post a video, I've got a tag on the timeline. So, and you can change the time of the duration of this notification, of these annotations. So I can play it now again. And as soon as the annotation is disappearing. So I can approve this file also. Okay, for the video file. And just like the pictures, you can see that the file has been approved by Emma. Okay. So, of course, you can also use the email notifications in the same time. So, as for example, there I received a couple of these informations. For example, for the brochure. So I just have to click on the link, and I have a direct access to my file. So I just have to approve the files, and it's okay. So now I will disconnect from the email and log in again with my John from the agency. So I can take a look to the brochure of my project. So I can see, as for example, that so Emma has approved a file. So on my side, I agree. So I just have to approve a file also, and this part is ready to be sent, as for example, to a printer. It will be exactly the same as, for example, for pictures. Or pictures are okay on this side. I've got also the video to check. So no, I do not want to. So I want to approve a file also. And so, as said, per asset, you can manage the approval of your assets using ES4 and the asset management. For your information, also, we are also able to support for pictures, and it's very useful for photography studios, for example. Here we have some raw files, so we are able to manage using the dialog HTML5 a closer look to my file using the native files. Of course, as you can see in my previous basket, we are also able to manage some Office documents. This one is just an Excel sheet, or I can approve also. So really, you can approve any documents using ES4. One other thing, of course, you can do is, and finally, that connection with what we were able to do with our previous version of ES is you can convert any folder from your file system into a project. Okay, and so it looks like just like this one, as for example. So this one is an example of what we can do in ES. That is to say, it was a project dedicated to approve a video, and you have a job ticket carrying a couple of informations used for these approvals, and this job is using this kind of workflow. This kind of workflow is it's just a flow of some steps of approval. As for example, there I've got an approval to get first approval dedicated for the design team. After that, I've got an approval dedicated for the transcoding of the video files and so on. And so you can easily customize any part of this workflow just ready to match your business workflow. So something easy finally. And in ES4, we embark a couple of presets ready to help you and drive your business more easily. So finally, we saw parts of what we are able to do on ES4 using the file system. Of course, you saw that at the beginning, I just added a file, but as for example, finally, I do not want to use this feature. So if I delete this feature, of course, this feature is also deleted from my file system. You have really a full synchronization of between ES and your file system productions. Now I'd like to jump to show you how we can set up that easily. And the reason why my user John Smith has the admin rights to show some of the setup, and we have two main of setup. The first one, of course, is the setup used for the DAM, and as you can see here, you just have to set up the path of your folder in your production system. You can use some regular expressions to derive part of the asset. As for example, you can easily imagine that you do not want to display some PDF files, so you can use this regular expression to derive the assets. And so we're also using some default workflow to do some first preview generation of the files. And the last one, that is one of the most important now in ES4, is the ability to use some advanced smart view to make your own design of your DAM. And so I jumped to a view of my smart view, and here is the setup of a smart view. So just to remember you, I speak about this view, the view I'm just showing there, with previews, with some menus, some actions at the top right, and also some metadata links to the features or action links to the preview. All that is set up on this smart view. So here is the gallery layout, so where you can customize the name of the files, the ranking, as for example, and also all the actions you saw just before, whatever on the top or at the bottom of a preview, you can set up just by drag and drop the action from the right side to this view. And starting from this view, you can decide, as for example, to make a default action, to use dedicated shortcuts to use this action. So it's really easy to customize. It just drag and drops, just to and you can really customize your environment of your DAM. And so now I come back to a view of my DAM. So we are nearly up to the end of this demo. So perhaps we can switch to some questions.
Yes, we received a few questions here through the live chat. One of the questions, I don't know if everyone has noticed that question, was the fact that we showed that we're using InDesign previews in the demo.
Yes.
So do we need anything special for that?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, for InDesign, perhaps you know that when you save your InDesign file, in the preferences of InDesign, you can set up the preview, the size of a preview. So we are just using this preview embedded in the InDesign file. So in my example, I'm using the largest one, which is the 1024 pixel.
Okay, thank you. And there's just another one came in. It's about when we're connecting to a file system to view the files, and then turn files from a folder in this file system into a ES project. What happens with those files? Are those files copied somewhere, or?
Yes.
complicated.
So as soon as we're, as for example, I take this example, and if I convert this folder into a job, and so I just have to choose the customer, and also I can load a template, that is to set user and dedicated workflow, just like this one. And as soon as I save my job, you can get a look to, I just have to add some the numbers of the pages of my magazine. So you can see that now I've got a real view of a job in 2ES. And as for example, if I select all the files, drag and drop on the flat plan, so I've got a classic view of a job. And if we just look at now at my file system, you have exactly the same. So I can go to a PDF, and you can see the PDF don't move at all. So you can now launch your an approval from this folder. This folder is also available in the customer view, just there. This folder at any time. So as soon as you drive your business workflow, you do your approval, you can come back to the view of your folder. So at any more now in my customer, you do not have a PDF view, and on your file system, nothing has changed. It's exactly the same. So we are really this capabilities to drive, and really that's a key feature, to drive a project over a file system.
Okay, thank you. Another one just came in. Are we maintaining links in InDesign documents? So that means, are we able to see what other assets on the system are linked or used in the InDesign file?
So up to now, we do not have some links between feature used in InDesign and the file itself. So of course, you can synchronize any part of your InDesign documents of the outputs, the fonts, features, whatever, but you do not have any link up to now between features and the file and the InDesign file.
Okay. Another one about the file system. You showed in the setup that we can select one path to a file system. Are we able to set up several file systems, so different paths?
Yes, correct. That's right. So in the input of ES, you can set up as many as you want path direct to a folder of your file system, and so you can easily imagine that sometimes, because in agency we have terabytes of data, it's very huge. But sometimes just to manage an approval, you don't need to support terabytes. You don't want to mirror some things or around your agency. So yes, of course you can in ES add as you want as mini folders links to a file system.
Okay, so yes, we can have multiple volumes.
Yeah.
And are those in NFS or also CIFS?
So up to now, you have to mount the volume on your server to be able to set up the files in 2ES.
Okay. Well, thank you. Just wait a few seconds. Maybe there's another question coming in. We've also checked our email. There is none on the product page. So I would think that we're through with this. Then I would like to thank first of all Fred to do this demo.
Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone who participated in this webinar. Thanks for watching. And, well, as mentioned before, we're gonna host several of those webinars in the next weeks. The next one is actually gonna be next Monday, where we're talking about approvals and what the new ES4 can do, where we are gonna have a look at the new dialog engine. Invitations should come out very, very soon. And of course, this webinar has been recorded and will be available at www.dalim.com tomorrow morning. So then,
thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, and I talk to you next week then. Bye-bye.